All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on into our All Hallows Eve week edition of Titans and Truth. We're gonna get started in just a minute, and hopefully everybody's coming on over from the Truth League report that happened. We're definitely going to talk about Titans and Texans. We're definitely going to talk about um, we're definitely going to talk about the new stadium renderings. Of course, I mentioned that on yesterday's TNT post game, but we'll still talk about it again today. And of course, it is again All Hallows Eve week as we will be getting ready to talk. As we get ready to talk about the Houston Texans, as we get ready for um, Sunday, and that's going to be a pretty important game as the Titans the Houston Texans. Um, take on the Houston Texans, and we definitely try to see if we can go for five in a row and try to get to 5-2 on the year. So that's going to be definitely very interesting. So definitely everybody come on in. Hope everybody is having a good evening. We're going to be getting ready to get started very shortly. Again, make sure y'all do share this show out. Make sure y'all share it out to everybody. Let everybody know where they can come on in, and in that way they can join in on the festivities, and we can get ready to get started in just a second. So we're going to get ready to get started in just under 60 seconds, and we're definitely going to have a really good time. I'm definitely going to be trying something a little different, trying to see if something works for me, and we may have a guest coming on as well in a few moments. May have um, my guy down in Houston, Mr. Ken Moore, who is definitely an expert on a lot of not just the Titans, but also Houston as well. So we'll get started in 60 seconds. Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody? Good evening, Titan Nation, and all football fans everywhere. Welcome to All Hallows Eve week of Titans and Truth. It might get a little scary for the Houston Texans as they take on the Tennessee Titans. But we're going to get into all that a little bit later, everybody. So come on in to the show. We know we got some people coming in on this Halloween week edition of Titans and Truth. I'm your host, Blue Enforcer, aka The Truth. Make sure y'all do follow me on all the channels on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Make sure y'all do give a like to the show as well, as we are going to get ready to get things going and get things started. And also letting y'all know this Sunday, come join me as we will definitely do a we're gonna have the Houston Texans game live. We will be live at El Toro Loco for the watch party. So definitely be in tune for that. And so that way you guys can enjoy that with us. So definitely stay tuned for that and everything. So you definitely don't want to miss that at all, as we'll be live from El Toro Loco. I'll be putting up that information in just a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk a lot about the stadium rendering that has come. We're going to definitely talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about a signing that happened, and I do have a friend of the show, a friend of mine, coming on as well, that could definitely fill us in maybe a little bit about him. And also, as we get ready to preview the Houston Texans. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my dear friend. I'm going to bring in an insider of his own right, and definitely ESPN play-by-play commentator and great, especially for the SWAC, representing them HBCUs. Mr. Ken Moore is in the building. Long time no see, my good friend. It is good to have you in tonight. I mean, I know you reached out to me earlier. Definitely glad you could be a part of the show. Ken, how you doing, my man?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, doing great. Good to see everyone. Happy Halloween week as it is. And yeah, man, just happy to be back on the show. I hit you up earlier today. I was thinking about doing a show myself. I was like, man, I don't have enough time to put this together. I know it's Wednesday. I know it's Titans and Truth Wednesday. So let me hit up my guy and see what's going on.
And of course, if you hit me up, you know I'm going to do everything in my power to answer. And so was able to answer there. And definitely, I appreciate you coming on a very short notice indeed. But, and also right quick, let everybody know where everybody can find some of your good work and everything, because you do some good work and everything, especially with with your show the day after. I know you haven't done a show in a minute. I know you've been busy with college football, with the SWAC. Let everybody know where they can find some of your good stuff and where they can find you for some good college football action, because I know you got the World Series and stuff.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, everyone, you can find me right now on Instagram at Ken Moore Sports, on Facebook at Ken Moore, on Twitter, and on YouTube at K Moore Sports. K Moore Sports is my Twitter and my YouTube. YouTube's been a little vacant lately, but that's all good. Now, for college football fans, I've been doing ESPN SWAC games for the last 5 years, and been doing, it's been really blowing up the last couple of seasons with the SWAC. Last week we had TSU, the real TSU, Texas Southern University, and Alcorn State. Fred McNair, of course, the brother of the late, great Steve McNair, is the head coach of Alcorn State. So we had their game last week. This week on ESPN Plus, all of our games are streaming on ESPN Plus. So if you have ESPN Plus, go find SWAC football. This week, we will have the Magic City Classic from Birmingham, Alabama, Alabama State, and Alabama A&M. For you Titan fans who don't know, the head coach of Alabama State is former Tennessee Titan Eddie Robinson Jr., not related to the late, great Eddie Robinson, but he's his own made man, Eddie Robinson Jr. He was a second-round pick of the Houston Oilers, I believe in 1992 or 93, and he was on the Titans Super Bowl team in 1999. He was a linebacker. So for all you Titan fans out there, if you want to see what Eddie Robinson Jr. is doing, we're going to have his ball game against their rival Alabama A&M coming up this Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 on the East Coast on ESPN Plus.
Definitely on that. Definitely appreciate, you definitely giving some time on here. And also, I do have to give congratulations to the Houston Astros. They, of course, are in the World Series against the Philadelphia Phillies coming up. I believe Friday night is game one.
Yeah, man. It's crazy in H-Town this week. If you guys are in Houston and truth is, I was wishing you was coming down this weekend, man, because it's going to be bananas. So if you're in Houston this weekend.
Yeah, I was, I thought about it, but I know I wasn't going to be able to get the time off.
Right.
But I am definitely going to hit you up, even though it's a little far off in July of next year. I'm going to be down. I will be down in Houston next year. So I am definitely going to hit you up then. And I think we could definitely make an arrangement to do something special in Houston for Titans, Texans next season. So I think we're going to work something out.
Okay. Well, we got a lot of stuff going down because I know it's a lot of Houston fans. A lot of people may be coming down for the game. So just a real quick shout out. We have a Facebook group, Tennessee Titans fans in Houston. I think you may be a part of that, Chris. I'm not sure. We have a Saturday night tailgate party, pregame party. Saturday night pregame party. It's going to be at the Phoenix, which is on Westheimer here in Houston. So we'll be having the Astros game on. We'll have a lot of festivities. It's fan friendly. So if you got kids, you want to bring the kids, Halloween stuff going on, it's going to be fabulous at the Phoenix on Westheimer here in the Houston area. That'll be on Saturday. And then, of course, on Sunday, it's a 3:00 game, not a noon game. It's a 3:00 game. So we will be tailgating in the blue lot. We're going to have a big Tennessee Titans. We do it every year for Titans Texans in the blue lot. We take over the blue lot at NRG Stadium. That should start around 11 a.m. and it's going to go all the way through to kickoff. So a lot going on in Houston. You got the World Series Friday and Saturday, Titans and Texans on Sunday. It's just bananas down here, man. It's bananas.
I definitely could tell. I mean, H-Town, yeah, they do know how to put on a party, and that much is a fact right there. Of course, you got some people that are fans of you rocking that Oilers shirt right there, looking good and everything. Of course, you got a couple of people who are also Astro fans in here too. Rocky Yit, Reggie B, what's up with y'all? Yeah, definitely saw that Cabu Grugier Hill from the Texans. Looks like he wants his release. I definitely saw that. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprising if the Titans try to pick him up. That would definitely
he has been
shot.
Released. But he has officially asked for his release. Hadn't been released yet, but he's actually asked for his release. Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to get into that. Now, before we do, I said, I want you to give me your thoughts on the Colts game, right? We're going to close the chapter because I know you used to do the good, the bad, and the concerning. Mm-hmm. So I piggybacked off of that a little bit, not too much because I didn't want to steal it from you. I did a quick good, bad, and the god awful.
Okay.
So, of course, right quick, I'm going to give you my good. Of course, was Derrick Henry. The Nashville nasty pass rush. Austin Hooper being cited. And Andrew Adams just coming out of nowhere. None of us knew who he was until now, but we know who he is now with that, with that pick six that he had. The bad, of course, being some injuries to some guys. Tannehill, looked like he was walking fine on the interview, on the press conference earlier before practice today, but he was listed. He did not practice today. So I'm not really concerned about that just yet because, today was kind of more of a walkthrough. Now, tomorrow and Friday, that's something that we need to monitor when it comes to Tannehill. Looks like Big Jeff is going to be fine. Ben Jones looks like he's going to be fine as well. The god-awful, a non-existent passing offense, and Todd drowning. For a lot of y'all that followed me for a long time, y'all know I used to call Terry Robisky Terry Robusky. But this is Todd drowning, who is just drowning this offense to death. We're sinking, and Derrick Henry is the only thing that is holding us up. He is the anchor that is holding this thing together. Without him, the offense is a rudderless ship right now. So that's just my good and bad and awful. Ken, let me get your thoughts on the Colts game as we close it up.
Well, for my good, and you guys know that follow me, I have never, ever been a fan of Randy Bullock. But Randy Bullock came through, went 4-4 on field goals. He was our only offensive weapon, special teams weapon, if you will. So I got to give him a shout. He hit that big 47, 48-yard field goal to make it a 9-point game in that fourth quarter that made it a 2-possession game, and that was huge. So I have to give Randy Bullock his flowers today. I think he was the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week this week. So when he does good, I got to give him his flowers. Also, as you mentioned, Austin Hooper showing up big time. I mean, that was a huge third down catch. The Indianapolis defender made a heck of a defensive play. Looked like he was about to knock that ball away. And Tennessee would have been punting back to Indy with 5.5 minutes to go, only up by 6. And we know the type of pressure that would have been in the tenseness that would have been in Nissan Stadium if the Colts would have got the football back with a chance to go down and win that ball game. So huge shout out to Austin Hooper, huge shout out to Randy Bullock. On the bad side, Todd Downing, man. I mean, here's the problem I have with Todd Downing. And I don't get on Todd Downing as much as some people do, because I do appreciate the success that the team has in the first half. And I know that we are conservative by nature, so we just bottle up in the second half for whatever reason. But 2 specific plays in that ball game. There was a Derrick Henry run for like 8 yards that set up a 2nd and 2. And then he puts Derrick Henry and the Wildcat on their own 30-yard line when you usually only do that at the goal line. And he loses 6 yards. Then you got 3rd and long and you end up punting. So you ruined a good first down play, right? Yep. Then he did the same thing in the fourth quarter. You're up by 6. You're up by 9. Indy has to punt. The punter was terrible the whole day. Yep. He shanks a 29-yard kick. You get the ball near midfield. You give it to Derrick Henry on first down. He runs for 7 yards. And then you put Malik Willis in to try sweep on 2nd and 3.
Yep.
Those plays are okay, but there's a time and a place. You don't do it on your own end of the field on 2nd and 2. And you don't do it on midfield at 2nd and 3. You do those plays on 3rd and 8. 2nd and 15 when you're trying to get a surprise play. Those are the times you run those plays. You don't run those plays on 2nd and 2 and 2nd and 3. That's just idiotic and insane, and I don't understand
it. And I would add on to it, that was the wrong time to run that play, like in that situation. And you don't run that type of play in the fourth quarter when you're trying to salt the game away, because you just gifted them 3 points. You're up 16-7. You have a chance to basically, in a wrestling term, choke them out and make them submit, make them tap out. And you just basically, with that turnover, gifted them 3 points and put them back in the game. You give them hope. You gave them hope. And like this ghost that's looking right above me, he's like looking like, I see some. Yeah, that was terrible. That was the wrong time, the wrong call for that particular situation, which drove me completely nuts. Austin Hooper definitely showed up big time, and I hope that's a sign of things to come. They need to build on that, because even with the trade deadline coming up, and we'll probably talk about this in a little bit, they're probably not going to make a move. I will say, a good 8 times out of 10, I believe they're not going to make a move, even though they should. They should, but they won't. And I've said this before, because they're going to basically try to sell us, hey, we're winning. We're up. We've won 4 in a row. We don't need to fix anything. And I don't know. And Ken, I want to get your thoughts on 2 things. One, I have never, and I have yet to get this point out on like radio shows, and I keep forgetting to do it. I have never heard of a coach, and maybe even an offensive coordinator included, that has emphasized so much on skilled players blocking. I have never heard of this. I mean, maybe I'm an outlier, but I mean, it just seems like Vrabel just loves blocking wide receivers, not pass catching wide receivers, and it drives me crazy. Their first job is to catch footballs, not block, although it is necessary for a guy like Derrick Henry.
Right.
And I believe my second point I want to ask you about is, do you actually believe in Vrabel's mind and in J-Rob's mind? Do you think they know that there's a problem with this offense?
I'll take your second question first.
Okay.
I think that, yes, they do realize it's a problem. And that's why they keep bringing in wide receivers every other week off of different teams' practice squads, right? So, yes, they realize it's a problem. Now, the solution to the problem is the issue, right? Do you want to give up draft capital and pay a nice salary for a wide receiver, a quality wide receiver that may be on the trading block? Or do you want to just continue to cycle guys through the practice squad, which history shows us has not worked? Golden Tate and the kid Josh Gordon, none of those guys that have cycled through on the practice squad have elevated, right? To actually get in the game and do something.
Right.
So why you keep going back? That's okay for defense, right? Because you can go pick up a safety. You can go pick up a cornerback. You can go pick up a linebacker. Because all you need somebody that needs to do to play defense is read and react, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver is more of a skill set. You got to get in tune with the quarterback. You got to know the plays. You got to learn the playbook. It's a lot more to learn as a wide receiver coming into a system than, just dropping a safety in or dropping a cornerback. And the Titans haven't shown me that they're willing to really go out and invest in a wide receiver. That ties into your second point, because it seems like they really don't value the position, because, as you mentioned, they want guys that can big and strong like an NWI or Julio Jones that can get downfield and block in case Derrick Henry breaks a long run, right? So it seems like that's where their main focus is. I don't understand that. I understand it in the sense of where you are as an offense, but if you really want to be able to compete with Kansas City and Cincinnati and Buffalo in January, scoring 16 points ain't gonna cut it. It's just not gonna cut it.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I kind of feel that Vrabel in their mind, and I had some comments. I know somebody, is I know my guy Mark Jones was like, hey, we're winning 4 in a row. We're good. I'm like, that's not realistic. Yes, we've won 4 in a row, but we've been getting by, basically. Offense can't perform aside from the king, as Titan Fox mentioned. And, like he said, it's another comment. The offense is like the Titanic, sailing along in victory mode, but there's going to be a game that's going to be the iceberg that's going to hit that ship. And, yeah, we're doing fine getting by against Indianapolis and the Commanders. Probably this week with the Texans, you could get by. And I'm not overlooking Houston at all. I'm just saying with the talent I think we should be able to take care of business. But then after this week, 4 of the next 5 games are all against potent offenses. Kansas City. Then, you kind of get Denver. I'm not going to sell them short. Russell Wilson, even though he's struggling, is still a good quarterback, even though he hasn't shown it this year. Green Bay, Cincinnati, Philly.
Yep.
All good football teams.
Yep.
That you're going to be going up against. All those teams with winning records. The way our offense is now, I mean, the defense, I believe, will be able to hold their own. But it's going to be the offense that's going to hold them back. The Titan defense is already having enough of a time playing against the other team's defense. Does it feel like they're also playing against their own offense because our offense just can't seem to score?
Yep. That's what it is, man, because when you get into these games against high caliber offenses, it's all about ball control, time of possession, matching score for score, right? So if you get down 10-0 to Kansas City, 17-7 to Kansas City, 19-3 against Philadelphia or some of these teams, you're going to have a hard time coming back with the way that the offense is set up. Now, that's one thing. I hark back to the first half. We've done a great job coming out of the locker room, getting leads in these ball games, and we've been able to play ball control. The defense has been able to do enough to keep teams off. But there's going to be a game or two where, hey, you don't score first, and that other team jumps on you, or you have a bad penalty or turnover or something of that nature, and your offense is going to have to get you back into a ball game. And right now, the Titans just aren't built for that.
I agree. I mean, unless they go out, and like I said, I mean, they're going to have to. I just think that, hey, what's up, DO9? Everybody, I know I haven't gotten to everybody's comments. I'm trying to kind of show them. But, I mean, like Titan Fox said, defense can't do everything when they're on the field the whole game due to 3 and outs. I mean, as good as they are, it's not a recipe for success. And, yes, as the old adage goes, and Ken, you know this just like I do, yes, offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. That much is a fact. But at the same time, the defense needs help too. It's like baseball. And I was thinking about this. It's like baseball. The defense, you could have the best pitcher in the world pitching a shutout. Pitching a shutout or a no-hitter or having a perfect game. Mm-hmm. And then it could be nothing going into the bottom of the ninth, and you gotta get 3 outs and you win. But the only problem is you haven't had no run support, and all it takes is one pitch that could change the whole game.
Hey, see Houston versus Seattle game 3, 18 innings, no score. And then one pitch, Astros hit a home run, win the game.
Exactly.
One mistake.
I mean, the best pitcher could be pitching a great game. Defense could be pitching a shutout against another team. But if you don't have no run support, if you don't have no offense to help you out, the defense can only do so much before the dam can break.
Right. And here's an old adage of mine that I always used to say on my show: never ignore in victory what you would not ignore in defeat. Okay. So let's just say Hooper doesn't make that catch. The Colts go down, they win that game 17-16. Okay, changes everything, right? Changes the entire complexion. Matt Ryan still has his job today, probably. If Hooper doesn't make that catch, Matt Ryan probably still has his job today, right? If they could go down and score. So you have to play complementary football, and complementary football is that your offense has to do enough, and they've done it so far. As we mentioned, they've won 4 in a row. But these next 5 games after Houston, and we'll talk about Houston in a moment. This is not going to be a cakewalk, folks. But after that, you have a serious situation where you could legitimately lose 4 of the following 5 games. Now, that won't end the season because you got 5 winnable games at the end of the year that you can recover and get back to 10-7 or 11-6 and still win the division. But these next 5 games, at least 4 of them, I don't have any confidence in Denver that Denver can come in Nissan Stadium and win a ball game the way they're playing right now. I just don't see that happening. But all of the other games, because after this week, you go to Kansas City, who's going to be coming off a bye. Kansas City doesn't play this week. So they're going to be missing Chris Jones, who I think got suspended for 2 games.
Frank Clark.
Was it Frank Clark? Frank Clark. They're going to be missing Frank Clark, but they still got Chris Jones, right?
Yep.
So they're going to be rested off of a bye. And then I believe you turn around and go to Green Bay on a Thursday night. That's going to be an insane asylum.
Well, that'll be after Denver.
After Denver. Okay, so you come on for Denver, and then you go to Green Bay on a Thursday. Right.
And then,
so that, I mean,
after that, you get the little mini bye, but then you got Cincinnati coming in after Thanksgiving.
Cincinnati's
and then follow
rolling.
that up. You got to go up to the city of brotherly love, to Philly. And
AJ Brown reunion.
AJ Brown, AJ has that game circled on his calendar. He is he's going to be extremely fired up on this one. And I am scared he might go off in that game, and it's going to help prove the point that I've been proving since the draft trade happened, that I thought that was the dumbest move we could possibly have made. It killed me, really.
Yeah.
And
same here.
Cortai Fox said, there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball.
It is a good thing.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yes, indeed. So, with all of that happening, yes, the Colts bench Matt Ryan for Sam Ehlinger for the rest of the year. Now, they claim they're not waving the white flag, but I think they're punting on the season, basically, on this, because they're going to draft a quarterback.
I agree with you.
Oh, I'm sorry, kid. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
And I was going to say, we made it official, brought Chris Conley in off of the Chiefs practice squad. I know he played in Houston for some time as well. Let me get your thoughts on that Colts benching Matt Ryan and the Chris Conley signing.
Coach benching Matt Ryan, that came out of nowhere. I was shocked when I saw it. I thought it was just a meme, honestly, when I first saw it. I didn't think that could possibly be true just 7 weeks into the season. I like Sam Ehlinger. So I love Sam. I wish him the best. He's a gritty kid. He's kind of a mini version of Taysom Hill, if you will. He's not as big and strong as Taysom Hill, but he can do the same types of things. When they moved him to the second string quarterback, I was really worried because I thought the coach would use him in that manner, where they would bring him in for 7 or 8 plays a game just to kind of switch up the pace, have that running quarterback option, and really screw it up for opposing defenses the way Hill does for New Orleans. So I was shocked when he didn't play, the first couple of weeks after taking over for Nick Foles as the number 2. So with them basically saying, hey, Matt Ryan's out and Sam Ehlinger's in for the rest of the year, and they're only a game and a half behind Tennessee, even with the sweep and with the schedule that we have coming up, it was shocking to me. But what that tells me is that Jim Irsay has had enough. He's had enough with the rotating quarterback carousel. He's had enough with the 35 and 36 and 38-year-old veterans. At the end of this season, he's going to have had enough with Frank Wright. He's going to be out of there. Chris Ballard, the GM, may be out of there. Depending on how Sam plays, which I don't expect the Colts to win maybe but 3 or 4 games the rest of the year, because I don't know that Sam is really. And then you have to think about what message does that send to the veterans in the locker room? Because we heard a lot out of Indy this year. At the beginning of the year, the veteran players were not happy with them having another quarterback. Darius Lewis or Darius Leonard, Nakeem Hines. A lot of those guys spoke out about, man, Tennessee, they got the same quarterback the last 3 or 4 years. We're changing quarterbacks every year. So the Colts have to worry about the message that it sends to that locker room. And you may have a lot of those veteran guys, they may tap out as well, and they may ask to be traded.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that going on right there. And I mean, there was a time where we were nervous about the schedule because the Titans got the first place schedule and Indianapolis has the second place schedule. But now you look at Indy's next few games, Washington, they get Washington, and that's not a gimme. especially with Taylor Heineke, they led, a comeback against Green Bay. New England, even though they have their issues at quarterback, they got to go to Vegas to face the Raiders. They got Philly. Pittsburgh could be tough, but I think they might have a shot against Philly. They got to go to Dallas. And then instead of playing Green Bay, they play Minnesota, who is hot. They got to go to New York later this year. And man, I said this on my Truth League Report show. I'm like, I don't know what's going on in the Big Apple, but there's a Big Apple bowling going on in New York with the Jets and the Giants. What the Giants are doing ain't no fluke at all. So Colts could be in some real trouble, some very real trouble indeed when it comes to that. But also right quick, what did you think about Chris Conley signing?
I mean, again, it's another guy for practice squad. How soon can he come in and learn the playbook, right? How soon can he learn this? Now, it's not a very complicated offense, but what can he do to help this offense? So he's coming from Kansas City. He's played in the league. He's had some success. Can he be better than Mason Kinsey or Des Fitzpatrick or Cody Hollister?
Exactly. I was listening to a show,
right?
Yeah, I was listening to a show earlier, and basically we're making the case. Yeah, you trust Cody Hollister over a Chris Conley, and I'm thinking the majority of the time you bring you bring Hollister in, 9 times out of 10 it's a run. It's not going to be a pass. You're going to rarely throw the pass to Cody Hollister.
He made a nice play against Stephon Gilmore on Sunday, though. I was like, wow.
Granted, he's caught pretty much every ball that's been thrown at him. Granted on that. But, I think Chris Conley could do some good. We'll find out. I mean, he's on the 53, so it's not like they signed him to the practice squad. He's on the 53. We'll definitely find out. But, I mean, this doesn't, for me, it doesn't move the needle until I see something. Now, you going to give me a Chase Claypool or Jerry Jeudy, maybe Cortland Sutton? Okay, now you got my head spinning like, But with Chris Conley, I'm like, okay. Yeah. And?
Right.
Show me something.
Right. What's the deal with Des Fitzpatrick? Why is he not?
That's a good question.
How do you not get on the field when the team doesn't have any wide receivers?
That is an excellent question, because that just makes you wonder. And shout out to RK, first-time viewer. Glad you're a subscriber. Welcome to the TNT family.
Smash that like button.
Yes. So, that does say a lot about Des Fitzpatrick. In this situation, with what we're in with no wide receivers, you can't even get on the 53. They won't bring you up.
They still going to get guys from the outside. They still going to get guys from the outside to put ahead of you.
That definitely says a lot. And, again, when the draft was happening with Des Fitzpatrick, I'm looking at the draft. I am banging the table for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm like, give me Amon-Ra St. Brown. Give me Tyler Wallace from Oklahoma State. I'm just banging the table. I'm like, J-Rob, you got 2 good receiving options right there. Make the right choice. And he goes and takes Des Fitzpatrick. Drove me insane.
Man, go get Elijah Moore from the Jets. That's who I wanted them to draft a couple of years ago.
Yep, could have got him instead of, let me see, who was that? Could have got him instead of Caleb Farley in round 1, which as much as I don't want to give up on Caleb Farley, we're only going to spend 5 seconds on this. As much as I don't want to give up on Caleb Farley, and I'm not, and I know a lot of people are, I think he needs snaps. Dang, you could have made a better choice on that. You could have solved your left tackle problem with Christian Darrisaw, who's in Minnesota. And he was supposed to be gone like in the first 10 to 15 picks. You could have had a tackle problem solved, but instead, now we're still with Dennis Daly, who just stinks. Stinks, I tell you. So, that's crazy.
It's challenging, bro. It's challenging on the offensive side of the ball.
It very much is.
It's
so,
challenging.
Everybody, let's quickly go into the two-tone blue star of the game, and we're going to get into Houston. Who was just two-tone blue star of the game from this one? I mean, there's really only a couple of options. Derrick Henry is pretty obvious. I, definitely could say the big three of Simmons, Autry, and Dupree. Andrew Adams could definitely get some love. David Long with 2 straight games with interceptions. So I need everybody to give me your two-tone blue star of the week nominees. While we're at it, Ken, who would you go with?
Hey man, I'm gonna go with the big guy in the middle, man, number 60, Ben Jones, the heart and soul, baby.
Yeah,
the heart and soul, man. I mean, the love that Vrabel gave him in that tunnel. I don't know if you guys saw it, but man, that was emotional, man. That was real, man. And for him, to go out of the game, come back in, and then you saw that one play when he's down on his knee and he wouldn't come out, and Tannehill was trying to help him up, and he gets in the huddle, just gets his breath for about 20 seconds and continues out there to play. Man, I love Ben Jones, bro. It's not too many guys from the Texans that have transitioned to Tennessee, but he's right there with Deontay Foreman, man, is 2 of the guys that we brought over from Houston that have really played their heart out. And Ben Jones, man, that was a moment for me on Sunday, man. That guy's real. He's holding that offensive line together. If the Titans lose Ben Jones, the ship may completely sink. People don't look at the center, man, but the center is almost just as important as the quarterback, particularly on this team when you don't have Taylor Lewan and you don't have Nate Davis and you don't have Roger Saffold anymore, and you don't have a right tackle that's dependable. You got Dylan's Redunce next to him on one side. You got Aaron Brewer next to him on the other side. I mean, he is the glue that are holding those 5 guys together. So for me, it's Ben Jones without a doubt.
I agree. And actually, I'm now correct me if I'm mistaken. You said right tackle not dependable. I think NPF. I think Nicholas Petit-Frere.
I'm sorry, the left tackle.
I figured that's what you meant. Yeah. I figured that's what you meant. I was like, Nicholas Petit-Frere, I think, against Washington, yeah, that was a pretty rough game for him. And I expected that because that Commander defensive line is really good. Right. But I think all in all, Nicholas Petit-Frere has held it on. I do like that with Ben Jones because what did do it for me on that was that play. He pushed the pile and everybody got in on it to push Derrick Henry along and pretty much seal the game. And that embrace in the tunnel, that was a beautiful moment. That was a beautiful moment between, and I gotta love Ben Jones. You gotta love Ben Jones, without a doubt. He is the quarterback of that offensive line because he's got to show, he got to basically look and see where blitzes might be coming and things like that. So absolutely not a bad choice at all. I'm going to go a little bit off of the beaten path, and I know I've seen some others. Titan Fox saying Andrew Adams and David Long. D09's going with Jones, Tannehill, Big Jeff. Titan Fox says Ben Jones wasn't the star, but he was the hero. I mean, that pretty much would say it on that. But I'm going to go with Andrew Adams. And this is why. Comes out of nowhere. We signed him off of the Tampa Bay practice squad a few weeks back. Had his little struggles first off. And one thing that Vrabel said about him, and I was listening to Mike Keith while I was at the game, I have one of the little Titan radios that was given to me as a season ticket holder gift. And I was listening to the broadcast. He said, one thing that they love about Andrew Adams is that he is a smart football player. And he made a ton of good plays, not just the pick six that, Bud Dupree was coming rushing free and forced the pass, and Adams right there picked it off. But another play that really impressed me was an open field tackle. Matt Ryan swung out to Jonathan Taylor, and Andrew Adams was right there and just took him to the ground. Excellent. That is textbook tackling right there. That is how you're taught in Pee-wees how to tackle somebody. It was perfect, and he did that all over the field. And so I give it to Andrew Adams. I mean, had 10 tackles, had that one interception, pick six, and then of course when Amani Hooker recovered the fumble, I mean, thanks to, I can't believe I'm saying this, Terrence Mitchell. Can't believe I'm saying that. Andrew Adams, when Amani Hooker covered, he goes on top and covers him up too to make sure we keep the ball. So shout out to Andrew Adams for being the star of the week. But whenever there's a star, who's the dunce of the day? The womp, 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 womp. There's a few of those out there too. I mean, Dennis Daly, another bad game as usual. Todd Downing for that stupid play call. Honestly enough, I would probably go Frank Reich's looking pretty bad right now. Jim Irsay could be one because he's been wanting a victory over the Titans and he hasn't gotten it in 5 straight tries. So, is there a dunce of the day for you?
Man, that's a good question. For that game, if you're looking on both teams, if you're just going between both teams, I would probably have to go with Matt Ryan because you can't make those kind of mistakes that Matt Ryan is making, man. That was on that play, on that pick six, he's supposed to call timeout right there because they were upset by the face mask that was not called on the previous play. So what happened was, according to the Indianapolis beat writers, Frank Reich was arguing with the officials, rightfully so, no pun intended, because it was a blatant face mask by Jeff that the officials missed. So he was arguing with the officials, and the Colts didn't get the play in time, right? So they were at the line of scrimmage trying to rush. The Titans have 6 men at the line of scrimmage. They only have 5 guys to block. As a veteran quarterback right there, you got to call timeout, regroup, come back with another play. But what does Matt Ryan do? Snaps the ball, throws it out there all willy-nilly, and then it's a pick six. And then a couple of possessions later, he comes back and throws another horrible interception to David Long. So, yeah, so I would go Matt Ryan for the Colts and then Todd Downing with that just blatant, ridiculous, those 2 play calls that I talked about earlier. I would go Todd Downing for us.
Not a bad choice there. I like that. I think I would go with Downing as well. I know Mark Jones is saying Malik for dropping the handoff. I'm not going to necessarily blame Malik, even though he should have been able to. You got to know in that situation, you got to think in your mind that you're probably getting the ball, even if you're not. And, you got to be ready for that. And so, I mean, I'll give a little nod to Malik, but he isn't my choice. I'm giving it to Todd Downing because he put Malik in that situation. And that shouldn't have even happened. Like you said, those 2 different play calls, could have really cost you the game. And add on to the fact, you don't score an offensive touchdown all game. I believe we've only scored, if I'm not mistaken, 16 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, 16 points in the second half, maybe 17. I could be off. I believe 17 points in the second half and only 6 points in the fourth quarter. The Kansas City Chiefs scored 16 points in the fourth quarter alone. They scored 30 in the second half, and we play them in 2 weeks' time. I mean, if you can't score in the second half, you're going to have major problems. So I think a lot of people are going with turd downing or turd drowning. I like that. So I would definitely say we got to go with Downing because he completely stinks.
Think about this.
God.
Think about this, Chris. You're coming off a bye week, right? So they took at least 10 days to put that particular play in, right? That's a play that you work on every day in practice. Okay, this is our trick play coming out of the bye week. That's what you worked on during the bye week. Think about that. That's not a play that you designed for. You played on Sunday and you turn it around to play on Thursday and you only had 3 days to work on it. You had 2 weeks to work on this and you still couldn't get it right.
And
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
And you still haven't scored an offensive touchdown in that situation. You've had 2 weeks to get an offense together that can score points and you're not doing it. And it's crazy. And I know, and I Mark, you know I love you, but you know I'm going to get on you because you're kind of going nuts here with this. You know, find a way, win whatever it takes. You know, work with the guys we have, I know. Chiefs only scored 3 on us last year. That was last year. That's last year. That has nothing to do with this year. The Chiefs are still a killing machine, and they're acting like it. Did you watch the game with the 49ers? Mark, go back and watch the 49er game with the Chiefs that just happened. Go watch the highlights and say, oh, well, they only scored 3 points on us last year. Last year, they were trying to find themselves a little bit. This year, they ain't trying to find themselves. They've kind of found it even without Tyreek. And yes, I know everybody's saying the Colts beat the Chiefs. True.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. The Chiefs beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs beat the Chiefs. The Colts didn't beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs beat the Chiefs. Go watch that game.
Exactly.
Go watch the game. They missed special teams. Yeah, they was tripping.
There you go. Because I mean, what was it? I believe Skyboy had a fumble in that game, led to a score off of a punt return, if I'm not mistaken, and that was part of it too. So yeah, absolutely. So let's get into this Texans game. I thank everybody for hanging with us for this hour and everything, but the Houston Texans, 1-4-1. Looks like they're probably out of it for the rest of the year too, but we can't underestimate them. It's still a division game, and Houston would love nothing more than to stop our momentum and hurt us in a major way. Ken, you're in Houston. You're down there. Before we go into the Blue Enforcer 4 points to victory, your thoughts on Houston? Could they do something to surprise us and shock and get a win?
Absolutely. Didn't they beat us last year?
In the rain, that they did.
Okay. Absolutely. Don't we always have a tough time with Houston?
Yeah, I mean, there's, to win
the division, to win the division, we had to have a kick off the upright, go into the end zone. Go between the goalposts to win the division a couple of years ago.
Yep.
So yeah, this is always a tough game because the Titans will always mess around. They'll get a lead and then they'll have a turnover and give the Texans momentum and let them get back in the game, and then it comes down to the last 3 minutes. Or Tannehill will throw 5 interceptions like he did last year, let the Texans get out to a big lead, and then you got to fight and struggle to get back into the ball game. So yes, this will not be a cakewalk. This will not be 30-3. The Titans haven't scored 30 points in a ball game this year.
Nope. Hadn't scored 24 or more. Hadn't scored more than 24.
No. The Texans, they have one win and one tie. You know who that was against? Jacksonville and Indy. Do you know where they reside? In the AFC South. When you're playing division games, it's always tough no matter who you play, no matter where you play. Okay, so they tied with Indy at NRG. They beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Okay, we got a banged up quarterback with an injured right ankle or left ankle. I'm not sure which ankle it is. Okay, so he won't be 100%. Even if he plays, he won't be 100%. He hasn't been mobile the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry starting to get better, starting to show that power. Derrick Henry, I'm sorry, he's lost a step, guys. He's lost a step. You saw that big run that he got against Indy where he got about 25, 30 yards. Normally that's a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Gilmore was able to bring him down in the open field by himself on an arm tackle.
And I think there was another one. There was another run where he bounced outside. I think he picked about 15 yards, and I think somebody clipped him. Yes. Normally, I do agree. Now, that one, that normally is a house call.
Normally, those are house calls. We haven't had a house call this year for Derrick, okay? So, what the Texans are going to do, now the Texans have the worst rush defense in the NFL statistically. Josh Jacobs ate them up on Sunday for the Raiders, right? He ran all through them. They couldn't stop it whenever he ran the football. Josh Jacobs is a different runner than Derrick Henry because I'm not saying he's better, he's different. So he's faster, he's quicker, he hits the line of scrimmage quickly. With Derrick, that offensive line is going to have to open up some holes for him to get through to the second level. And when Derrick gets to the second level, he's going to have to take it to the house or get down inside the 10-yard line. He can't be having one guy stop you in the secondary. That's not the Derrick Henry we've come to know and love. Also, Derrick Henry is only averaging 4 yards per carry this season. Okay? You want your running back to be up around 4.85 yards per carry. So he's still down in that category. Pierce is a very good running back for the Texans. He's averaging 4.75 yards per carry, almost a 4 yard more than Derrick Henry. Okay, so the key to this game for me is the Titans have to do like we've done most of the year, stop the run. We're 4th in the league against the run. You can't let Dameon Pierce run all over you and have the Texans in 2nd and 2 and 2nd and 3. Got to stop them on first down. Make Davis Mills throw the football. Okay, 2 guys on the outside that we have to worry about. One is Brandon Cooks. We've seen him before eat up our secondary. You still got to worry about Brandon Cooks. And they got a big tight end, Akins, big, fast. They don't go to him a lot. But when they go to him, he can be very effective because he has a lot of speed. So those are 2 guys to worry about on the outside. I think the Titans win this game, but I think it's close. I think it's like 20-17, 20-16, somewhere in that area, because I just don't see our offense being able to go and put up 28, 31 points. I just don't see how we can do that, especially with Tannehill being hampered, not being able to move as much. And if Malik Willis is the quarterback, then you have to deal with his inexperience and the possibility of him making turnovers.
That's true. And quite a few of what you said leads to a couple of about 4 points to victory for this game. And I definitely do agree. You hit on this first. You got to let the big dog eat. As Jared Stillman would say, let the big dog eat. Let the king feast. Let's have a big feast of the food that's being prepared in the Houston Texans and let Derrick Henry feast on the Houston Texans. Last, and I don't know why I put 31st against the run. I meant to say 32nd against the run. They're 31st overall, I believe, defensively, but they're, dead last against the run, like you said. And he's got to eat. He's definitely got to eat, So this could be that breakout game. He's went from being like 10th, 9th or 10th in rushing. He's now 4th in rushing. So he's coming up. He's slowly coming up. But I agree. It's time for some house calls to get made. And I think Derrick Henry, I think that house call is coming. I think the house call is coming. I think this week he breaks it out. I think he makes that house call. As Titan Fox said, I want to see a 70-yard run. I think that's going to happen. And I think that's going to be major. Number 2, no matter who the quarterback is, you got to keep this momentum with Austin Hooper going. He's got to be your safety blanket. Him and Robert Woods. And I mentioned this on a radio show that we don't pass the ball much at all. And I looked at some of the other guys around the league. The receivers and tight ends combined have 144 targets. Tyreek Hill and a few others, they have almost half as many targets as the entire Tennessee Titans receiving corps has, which is very interesting. So, for example, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase have 78 and 74 targets respectively, and Cooper Kupp has 72. Those guys have just as many targets each as Austin Hooper, Robert Woods, Treylon Burks, and NWI combined. Each of those guys have more targets than those 4 guys together. And all 4 of those guys have half as many targets alone as the entire Tennessee Titans offense. That ain't going to get it done. You're going to have to pass the football. Take some pressure off of Derrick Henry a little bit. But we don't have any weapons. But Austin Hooper has showed up. You got to continue that momentum. Let him be your safety blanket. Let Robert Woods be your safety blanket. Get to those guys on offense and just block somebody. And let Derrick Henry run wild. Number 3, you alluded to this. Dameon Pierce. Man, I am impressed with this kid. I am impressed with this kid too. I mean, if Houston had won a little bit more, he might be on my True League report. He might be one of my ballers. He might be one of my resident ballers. But he plays for Houston, so that's probably why. But, yeah, this kid is impressive. Very impressive. And, the Titans do give up around 4 yards a clip. Not a great clip, but we're 4th against the run. You're going to have to shut them down in the run game. And like you said, make Davis Mills throw the football. Don't play down to your competition. Do not let Houston hang around. Because if you let them hang around, you're giving them false hope. You're letting them believe they can actually win. The Titans cannot give them that. They got to take care of business, punch them in the mouth, knock them out, and make them tap out. That's what they need to do. Don't give them hope. Because the Titans do tend to have one of these hiccup games, and this would be the perfect hiccup game. But I hope it's not. So those are my 4 again to everybody. Let the big dog eat. Have some momentum with Austin Hooper and Robert Woods. Shut down Dameon Pierce. And don't let them hang around. And so we're going to get in the moment of truth of who wins. Kid has kind of given his already. That the Titans should win. I agree on this as well. I'm just going to make this quick and I'm going to get to some of y'all comments. But I'm with you. I said 20-10. I think the Titans do take care of business, 20-10. And I'll give a little bit of a teaser for the Chiefs game that we'll talk about. It's got to be a boring football game. As much as we don't like that, that's the best way that the Titans are going to win. It's going to have to be boring, deliberate. It's got to be just smash mouth, pound them into the pavement until they can't take no more and just keep punching and punching. You can't go for home runs because we don't have the guys to do it besides Derrick Henry. But in this game, all you got to do is run the ball and you'll win. Run the ball and stop the run, you win. Pretty much. And that's about all I got to say about that. I see some others say Mark Jones saying 27-10. I don't know where 27 points are going to come from. Maybe it'll be there.
He's going to have to get another 6
I will agree with you on that. Let's see. You know, we're going with who run it. We run it. We better do just that. Titan Fox saying Hooper and Chick will be stars if we ever target them. They are who we need to lean on. And Kyle Phillips is gone to IR for the next 4 games. I agree. They can't be effective if you don't target them. You know? So keep the crown fresh. I like that. And Baldwin Bearded says, I'm sure Pierce isn't facing 8-man boxes either. And I would probably venture to say that is correct.
Right.
That he ain't facing 8-man boxes like Derrick Henry does. So, you know, Baldwin Beard is nervous, saying they show up against us. Yeah, in Nashville they did in the rain. They showed up and they beat us down.
Remember in that game,
they beat us.
We didn't have Julio Jones and A.J. Brown in that game that we lost also.
Exactly.
We didn't have any receivers.
17-10. I like that. Titan Fox said 3 touchdowns for Henry. I'm calling it. I could see that. So, you know, we're about to get ready to wrap things up for the evening. You know, I haven't done this in a while, and it is All Hallows Eve week. I think it's time for us to do a quick shut your pie hole. And I'm really not going to go in sports. I mean, well, I take that back. There is like one in sports that I am going to give. And it's not really a shut your pie hole. It's kind of a throwing shade a little bit on this team. But the Ben Simmons of the Nets. Shut your pie hole because you're not that good. John Morant, I mean, and that was a great game. I hate I didn't get to watch it personally. But, I mean, seeing Ja go for, 35. Bane went for like 35 or 38. KD and Kyrie each went for 37. Awesome game. But one thing that was killing me was, John was trying to conserve time, was trying to run some time and let the ball just roll along the court. Mm-hmm. And it got past half court and let about almost 25, 30 seconds roll off the clock, which that helped the Grizzlies. Ben Simmons doesn't even come up and play the ball. They just letting it go. And I believe they scored off of that anyway. But, Dad, you've got – and I think Ben Simmons fouled on that one and fouled out of the game in that situation. That's what happened.
Yeah, and then he was mad about it.
There. So,
yeah, he was
shut your pie hole to Ben Simmons and to Kanye West. Oh, my God, I'm sick of this guy. I have never disliked a rapper more in my life than I do Kanye West. I understand his mom died, but ever since then, he has just done nothing but stupid stuff after stupid stuff after stupid stuff. Something is not right with him up here. And I hope he gets the help that he needs because he obviously needs it. But Kanye, you're losing money. You're losing endorsements. Everybody's pulling the plug on you. Shut your pie hole and sit your tail down somewhere. Please, for the love of God, just sit down somewhere and shut up. Please.
Amen.
So that's what we got to do on that. And I forgot.
Can I have one? Shut your pie hole.
Oh, please do.
All right. So see this orange jersey behind me on this side.
I do.
So when the Yankees came here for games 1 and 2, we had the roof open, which is very rare in Houston at Minute Maid Park for the roof to be open. It's only open like in April because it's too hot in the summertime. And usually when the playoffs come, the Astros want the roof closed to keep the crowd noise in and whatnot. We'll talk about that when the Titans get their new stadium, since it's not going to be a retractable roof from what I understand.
Yeah, we're going to show pictures of that too.
Yeah. So anyway, Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yankees, has the audacity to complain that, the Yankees may have won because one of Aaron Judge's long fly balls didn't go out of the park because the roof was open. Well, don't you play in Yankee Stadium where 81 times a year the roof is open? And then you come here complaining about the roof being open? What kind of nonsense is that, Aaron Boone? Shut your pie hole and enjoy that sweep and enjoy your fall watching the Astros in the World Series.
I definitely like that. And actually, I forgot, we got a special treat also for a bet that has to be paid off. I got our resident Titans hater on the phone with me, and he's got a little something that he needs to say to the people of Titan Nation. I got my guy Kent Woods, who has basically kicked us to the curb and has decided not to be a Titans fan, which we respect and love everybody. But Kent, you are live on. What do you got to say about the team that you hate the most, the Tennessee Titans? I think there's something that you need to tell the people right about now.
Yeah, I love the Tennessee Titans.
And I wonder, why do you love them so?
I lost a bet.
Hey, I will tell y'all this, everybody. Kent's on the line right quick. He's been a Titans hater now for this past year, but he is a man of his word. I give him that. He is a man of his word. He's paid off his bet. He's paid his debt. He wanted to pay it last night, but I said, no, we got to drag this out one more day. We got to do it. Got to do it. So, Kit, I appreciate you paying off your half of the bet. Can you give me a tighten up just one time?
Tighten up, man.
It's a stand-up guy right there, man. That's a stand-up guy.
I can't wait to Kansas City and Cincinnati. It's gonna be tightened down again.
He just had to breathe. Thank you, Kid. And that is our resident Titans hater, Kent Woods. Again, is a man of his word, paid his debt to society, and did it quite well, I might add. Gotta give him that. So, yeah, but as Kent mentioned, here are the renderings, of course. The Titans did a design of the new stadium. I hate I didn't get the video up, but these are some of the renderings of the new stadium that is the design that could be what it looks like to be built on the East Bank of Nashville, right next to where the Titan Stadium is now. And that's where it's going to be, of course. You got there's going to be a lot of development around the area, but it's going to be, of course, a enclosed stadium, translucent roof. Just like I saw on the graphic in the beginning, I absolutely love it. I think it's fire. I like the way it looks. Although it does in the video, it almost kind of looked like either a PlayStation or a old school speaker on the outside with the roof on top. I'm thinking might be like a speaker. Maybe we bump it up a bit, but I definitely like it. You know, of course, my lovely wife chimes in and says it looks like Starbucks and offices will be in the building. It does kind of look like a bit of a Starbucks on the outside. It kind of does. So
I've heard Starbucks. I've heard Top Golf.
Yep, I've heard that too. But I think all in all, I think it's a very nice design. I think it's a very nice look because I think there's going to be more than just the football part of it. I think there's going to be like a sports book inside of there. There's probably going to be some restaurants or clubs maybe inside of that stadium as well. So I think this could be state of the art. Supposed to be approximately 60,000 in the stadium. So, I mean, it may not be the biggest capacity, but I think they're going for quality over quantity as far as this stadium. And with the World Cup in the rear view, they can make sure that this gets done right. So, Ken, what did you think of the designs? What did you think of the designs of that before we do get out of here?
No, it looks good, man. It looks fire. It looks tremendous. Now Nashville has great weather, so I would have hoped for a retractable roof, where you can open it up in September and October when the weather's nice, and then you can obviously have it closed later in the season. I know it does get warm there in September, so maybe it's not worth the money to make it a retractable roof if you're only going to have it open 2 or 3 times a year. It just kind of depends on the weather situation there. I saw a lot of people not a lot, but some people on social media concerned that why is it only 60,000 when Nissan holds 68 to 69,000? Well, there's a reason for that. The reason for that is that if it's only 60,000, then that makes the tickets a lot harder to come by because there's less seats. And if the team is good, you can charge more because there's less seats to buy. If you build it, if you make it 70, 75,000, well, you run the risk of having a lot of empty seats every Sunday, particularly if you're in a 2 to 3 year window where the team is not doing as well. So you want to make it, big enough where you can fill it up, where it can sell out, but you don't want to have it too big where you have a lot of empty seats in case the tickets aren't selling, the team isn't doing well in a particular period of time, because you're not going to have a good team every year, right? There's going to be those 2 to 4 year stretches where you're rebuilding, you got this going on, yada, 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 but you still want to make sure that you can have a profitable product and that the stadium doesn't look half empty when the team is not doing well. So that's
I agree
the
with
reason
that.
why you have a 60,000 seat stadium.
And I agree. And then, I mean, some of the other stadiums, like, the stadium in Vegas, I want to say their capacity is like around 60, 65,000, but it can expand to about 70,000. So in this situation, obviously you're going to have about 60,000 for football games. Obviously, if they have, basketball games like the Final Four or tournament games, or, you never know. You may have like a crazy big matchup. Maybe the Grizzlies, maybe they have something set up where the Grizzlies play a team like the Pacers or something somewhere in the middle. You can expand it to where it might be about 65, maybe 68,000 could fit in there. You bring WrestleMania, you could get close to 70 in that stadium because you're going to have all those seats where the field is. So you can expand it to almost 70,000 with those extra seats. So I think it'll be just fine. I think the NFL sent like a memo or a thing to the Titans about maybe required capacity, especially with the Super Bowl being a possibility. And the Titans are, of course, going to be in line with that. So I definitely do like that. Now, RK brings up a point, likes the design, but missed the natural grass. I would like it to be of some natural grass instead of the turf because that could cause more injuries because we've seen a lot of guys get injured on that turf. So that's something that I am a bit concerned about. Other than that, I love it. I can't wait to be in there to watch a game. I'm glad it's not retractable because, like you said, a lot of teams only open that up maybe a couple of times out of the year anyway.
Right.
And I think they said it will be like another, I want to say 200-some million or more, to make it retractable. And then if something breaks down, you got to fix that and everything. So saving expense with that. So
where is
will
it?
Be very, very interesting.
Where will it be? And where will the location be in reference to Nissan Stadium? Is that near Nissan or is it where is it in reference to Nissan?
The stadium is going to be built directly right next to Nissan Stadium. That big parking lot right by Nissan Stadium, that is where the new stadium is going to go. And so parking at least from about 2023 to 2026 is going to be non-existent. And it may even be non-existent after the fact. But I think with a lot of the buildings that's going to be around it, and maybe even at the new stadium, they're probably going to build a underground garage or underground parking spots or something like that, which I think could help. But that's what's going to happen. They're going to build it directly next to Nissan Stadium, and they'll still play games at Nissan Stadium. And then once that stadium is ready to go, bye-bye Nissan Stadium, and then they'll start, making the development there around that new stadium.
Would they demolish Nissan or would they still keep it up for like college and high school?
They're gonna completely demolish it. Like there's already a deal for TSU to play at least 4 games in that new stadium. So TSU, the Tennessee State University, I had to get you on that one. They're gonna play some games in there. They'll probably play the high school, like the if they maybe decide to, have the state championships there, that would be nice. They could definitely do that. But TSU already has a deal there. The Music City Bowl will be there. And, now with this stadium, the Music City Bowl could end up being either the national championship game or it could end up being in that rotation of those college football playoffs.
Yeah, because the playoffs are expanding. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And, Mark brings up another possibility. I don't think they'll move it from Atlanta, but that's a possibility as well. The SEC football championship.
Yeah.
And they may say, you know what? They could have it where they put the SEC basketball championship, have a couple of games at Bridgestone, a couple of games at this stadium. So that's also possible too. And RK, you're right. Parking is going to be non-existent during that. And I'm going to enjoy the fact weather not being a factor. I am so happy about that because I am sick and tired of going in the summertime baking like I'm in an oven where I could take some food on like the steps or on the pavement and cook food on it. Or in the wintertime, I'm freezing to death. Or if it's pouring down rain, I'm getting drenched. At least I can take off my jacket or my coat and then I can be just like this and comfortable. That's what I want. So I'm stoked about this. And
all right.
As of course, my wife would allude to this, parking is already crazy as it is. And she's right about that. It will be a nightmare for parking. And that's something that they got to straighten out. That is one part of all of this that they do need to straighten out is the parking situation that's going to happen after the stadium goes up. So I love it. I'm excited about it. But let's go ahead and wrap this show up. Ken, you have been amazing. Thank you for sticking with me all this time. Once
No
again,
problem, bro.
if you got anything coming up, let the people know one more time where they can find you and enjoy your great knowledge.
I appreciate you, man. Well, again, yeah, this Saturday, ESPN Plus, 2:30 p.m. Central Time, I'll be broadcasting the Alabama State, Alabama A&M SWAC football game. You can find me on Twitter at Kmore Sports, YouTube at Kmore Sports, Instagram at Kenmore Sports, and then on Facebook at just Kenmore. I'm posting every week about the Titans, college football, primarily the SWAC. It's been crazy in the SWAC this year, Deion Sanders and all that stuff. And yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. So I always enjoy conversing with you guys here on the channels and tighten up. Hopefully we can get a victory down in H-Town this week.
Yeah. And I'm also going to mention, sorry about that beat down we had to put on the Houston Rockets a few days ago. Sorry about that.
You know what, man? I've kind of tapped out on the Rockets right now. We're in full rebuild mode. We're tanking for the big 7-4 kid. So I don't expect much out of the Rockets this year. We probably win about 15, 16, maybe 20 games this year. But hey, I like the Grizzlies, man. Ja and Desmond Bain, that brother there. I mean, he's balling out of control. So I rock with the Grizzlies. But, my Houston Cougars, they always do it to your Memphis Tigers, too. So don't get it twisted.
Yeah, no, I was very quickly, I was at a restaurant with my wife. I was watching some of the game, and I'm thinking, okay, we're up 3 scores. I'm like, okay, we got this.
I thought about you, Chris.
And I saw that kickoff return. I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, this could be the play that turns it around. And, of course, we lost it at the end. So that was definitely crazy. Titan Upload in the building. Shout out to Titan Upload. Yeah, and also Ryan Harris. I know he's a part of that network as well. Shout out to him as well. So appreciate you being with us. RK, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the show. Being a subscriber, and also Rouser Rex, who was tuning into Truth League Report earlier as well. Definitely shout out to you, Browser. Welcome in, and like I said, I welcome all fans. He's a Bears fan. Definitely watching it, so I don't discriminate. We all football fans at the end of the day. And so, Marjorie said, I want to be Bane for Halloween. That's actually good. That is a good idea.
That's a good one.
Really good idea.
That's a good one right there. That is a good one.
The NBA just needs to go ahead, shine that MVP trophy up, and just give it to John now. Just go ahead and give it to John now and get it over with. No need no need to make a decision. No need to hold up the decision. It's easy.
He's definitely going to be in the race. Oh, by the way, the Final Four is in H-Town this year. The U of H Cougars are ranked, I think, number 3 right now. It's a very good chance the Cougars could be playing the Final Four in their home city. So come on now, Chris. I got you, bro. Come on, chew for them Cougs, bro. Come on.
Go Tigers, go. I'm sticking with Penny. But everybody, for Kenmore, for myself, I'm Truth. Thank y'all for tuning in to the show. Thank y'all for sticking with me. I know it's been an hour and a half. I've talked your heads off. Y'all go get something to eat. Get out of here, you party animals, and tighten up, because that's all we know how to do. And make sure y'all tune in on Sunday for the live watch party. I'll be at El Toro Loco this week. Texans, Titans. El Toro Loco. The sound will be better. I promise you that. I'm not going to have that same headset. I'm trying to work on getting a new one that will actually work.
Send me a link. I'll be live at NRG. We'll see if we can hook it up.
Oh, absolutely. I think we could definitely do something like that. So that would definitely work. So for Kenmore, I'm your man, Blue Enforcer. Thank y'all for helping me reach 1,200. Let's get to 1,300 and tighten up because that's all we know how to do. Good night.